All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boss Talk Podcast. I'm excited for this. I got my homie Anthony Ortega. We've been knowing each other from high school.
For a minute.
Yes,
It's been a long time.
Tell the people what you do, bro.
Well, I'm a first responder. Work for a big agency, one of the biggest in the world. I'm 30 years old now, man. We're getting old, bro.
Yeah.
You know, a lot has changed since we were in high school. It's been a good one, you know.
Yeah.
My family is everything. That's it. You know, all I do is around my family. I hardly have homies anymore because, you know, people out here are too fake and they don't like to keep it real.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
People fall off. But
it always happens.
100%.
You start with 1 million homies and then you end up with 2
Yeah.
that you can count on a hand, you know, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And just so everybody knows, like, that's why me and you are still close. Because
Exactly.
we kept it real, you know?
Exactly.
I know you support me and I support you, bro.
All
so
day.
That's what it is.
That's the way, keeping it organic, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a first responder. I've been doing a lot of things to help people, you know, and it's mostly off camera. I never really tell people what I do, but, you know, reach out on social media or just me being straightforward with my life because I feel like social media is so fake.
Mhm.
I keep everything transparent. I let people know my good, my bad, and the ugly because if I can help just one person to get better and better their mental health, that's I'm winning in my book, you know?
Yeah.
That's good to know, man. And I feel like we have a pattern just amongst us because obviously every guest that we've had so far is like one of our people. And it's been a consistent pattern of people coming on here who I feel like have good morals or good intentions. When you watch like a lot of other podcasts, it seems like it's just a clown show,
Yeah.
like all the way around of like what people's interests are and things that are said. But it's always interesting to me coming here because like, I don't know you before today, but you're an extension of him. And so I'm sure that we'll all get along, you know?
100%.
Yeah, Boss Talk is all about like the organicness of it. You know, we're not one of those shows where it's like we're doing stuff for the likes.
Yeah.
We're not doing stuff for the views. We're not all drama over here where all these other podcasts are. So
And that's why I'm glad you invited me. I appreciate you guys for inviting me because you guys are organic and I only want organic. I don't need to lie to people about who I am because when you live your truth, no one can say nothing about you.
Exactly.
100%.
And we appreciate you coming on, G.
Appreciate it.
So usually what we do is we start the show off with a boss talk, which is usually led by our brother Javon here, our senior coordinator in the Boss Talks. But
Boss
today, before we do
Talkology.
that- Yeah, Boss
There you
Talkology, Boss Talkonomics,
There you go.
whatever you want to call it. But before we do
Ooh,
that,
was good. I like
quick,
that.
we keep it quick. We keep it organic, like Whole Foods.
Yes, sir.
Or like
But cheaper
Arrow.
than Whole Foods though.
Hey, the quality is maybe a little bit more expensive, but we're giving it on a better
Okay, I feel
basis.
you, I feel
But
you.
tomorrow is March 8th. We're not going to be recording tomorrow. And if you know that March 8th is International Women's Day. And me being the advocate I am for women, I want to say on behalf of all the boss men that we're very thankful for all the women in our lives, our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, wives, even the daughters. So God bless all the women across the world, whatever you're doing, however you're doing, especially the ones who taught us, raised us, put the fruits and the seeds in our life so that we could reap and sow the correct and the righteous way of life. So I just
There
want
you
to say thank you. And I want to say behalf on all the men here that we have a lot of love for you,
Yeah.
women out there.
And maybe I'll meet one of those good ones one day.
And until then,
see.
he's meeting all the rest of you. So until that time.
Till that time comes.
So today's Boss Talk, I had started off before I was doing the fruits of the spirit and I had touched on a lot of these topics and I actually have to go back and revisit a topic that we spoke about before, but approach it from a different angle because of something that I saw circulating on social media. So first of all, to kind of dive into this, I feel like in most every cultural group or ethnic group, there's like the stereotypical like way that people dress that's just like too much. It's like, come on, dog, like even as a black person, like there's other certain things that I see that's like, and I know me and other black people see it and we're like, come on, that's too much.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Oh,
being
for sure for the
Hispanic, you see it. Yeah.
For sure for the Mexicans.
100%.
And as an Armenian, I'm probably sure that you see, the stuff that you're just like, why are you doing this?
Everyone right now here is dressed up as an Armenian. All black is our uniform for life.
No, but the bad ones though, this is not a bad stereotype. All of our cultures carry like bad, like terrible like things, right? So the one that I've noticed is like middle America white men with like the army shirt on who never served,
flip-flops,
and they have like the military hat with like the American flag and the shades, and it's like, what are we doing here? Were you special forces at a certain time?
Can I say
or what?
one thing, because you brought up the flip-flops? If you ever want to know if a white guy is down, he's either going to be wearing flip-flops or he's going to call you buddy 3 times in the span of 2 sentences. What's up, buddy?
Listen here, buddy.
It's always buddy, pal.
That's
Newsflash, pal.
Yeah, that's white people trying to bang on you. Like, what's up, buddy? That's how you know he's trying to,
But the point that I'm making is, I feel like within every culture, right? And the reason I'm speaking about the stereotype amongst white culture is because this is where I'm going with this. Is that first of all, we know there's some down white people, bro. It's why there's some white boys out there with hands. There's some white women out there with hands. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. So, but when you gotta like put on this specific alpha uniform to try and pull it off, it's like, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Because like, look at us. We're all dressed nice here. And I'm not trying to portray anything else other than the aesthetic of the show. And I don't need to go dress a certain type of way to show people that I got hands or that I'm hard or that I'm more of a man. I get up and I'm comfortable all the time. It's more embarrassing when you get beat up by somebody who's relaxed in their attire. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, but anyways, I feel like there's this thing going on around right now with Christianity where it's somewhat being hijacked again, by a specific group of people about what it means to be a Christian. And what I saw was these Christian podcasters, and they were pretty much talking about how empathy is like the main enemy of Christianity today. They were saying that because of who we are spiritually, that if we have too much empathy, we can be taken advantage of, yada, 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 and this and that. First of all, we're followers of Christ. We're not followers of our own minds. And if we want to be followers of our own minds, then you could go do that somewhere else. But you shouldn't be slapping the word Christian on top of it. When we look at the way that Jesus lived his life, it was very empathetic the whole entire time through.
Yeah. He
He never was there like, get away from me, scrub, or I don't understand what you got going on or anything like that. Empathy is a major thing. A lot of times, we've been blessed today. We have everybody on here. You're identified as Christian? Or,
Correct.
okay, so all of us are Christian today. I don't know if we've had any guests who are not Christian so far, but we will, We might have the devil on here himself, and he's gonna have to sit here and listen to this.
And he's gonna change his
his views right after.
Yeah.
He probably won't change, but whatever.
He's gonna wear all black after though.
So the point being is that how ignorant is it, I personally feel, for anybody to think that, why are you gonna live your life in fear rather than doing what you need to do?
Right.
As a father, I don't teach my kids to not do what they need to do and to become something else. I tell them what you need to be, and we all need to understand this world is not fair. It's not going to be fair, never will be fair. That doesn't mean that you need to step out of character or switch up things. And also, I'm a firm believer that Christianity doesn't change over time. I don't care what type of technology we come across or whatever. There's not a Christianity of back then and then a Christianity of like today, like, oh, we need to switch it up because of today. We're either closer to God or we're further away. And that's all it comes down to. Yeah. So the boss talk of the day is empathy, because I want to remind everybody, especially the clowns who wanted to throw my faith under the bus and talking about that empathy is a weakness. It's not a weakness.
Right.
It's a strength. And you need to have that. You need to understand what other people are going through and how you can assist. If you don't have empathy, what are you doing? You're living for yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what I got to say on that.
You're living in your fantasy. Like, I remember I brought it up in a Boss Talk episode a while back when we were first starting, is when like Christ was kicking in with the pimps and the hoes, bro. Christ wasn't out here kicking in with the goody two shoes. Christ wasn't out here kicking in with those who think they're right in the life that they live, right? If Christ was here today, he wouldn't be standing outside abortion clinics screaming, you're gonna go to hell. He's not gonna be standing like spitting on an OnlyFans girl. He's gonna try to give them the righteous way of life, the light that can shine in their life so they can do better. So I agree with you. And then on when you're saying the word of God has changed or people are trying to change it, one thing that remember a historian was saying about the Bible is that the Bible was written for us but not to us, because the times have changed. So it's for us to take in, but there are some things that because that we're not living 2,000 years back, it doesn't apply to that time period, but it still may apply in different aspects. Do you get what I'm coming from? Or what I'm getting
I mean,
at?
I'm gonna
Wes
hear
Huff
you.
said it.
I'm gonna hear you. I just need to. I need you to elaborate more of like, what are your thoughts on that? You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna say I agree or disagree. What are your thoughts on that? Like, you get more into detail with that.
It makes sense when they say the Bible is for us, but not to us at a specific time. It's because times do change. Does the word of God change? No, but is the way that people act, react, and perceive life? It is, and it's going to be applied in their everyday life that they live. So that's what I'm trying to.
I think
like times change, but scenarios don't. You get me? Like, and I think I get where you're coming from, where it's like there's so many scenarios in the Bible that everybody can always relate to, even if time does change.
Right.
Mhm.
You get me? So,
I believe God is not an author of confusion.
Right.
I think what happens is we confuse ourselves as human beings. We start allowing other people's opinions instead of the actual word. Like for me, I watch this guy, Philip Anthony Mitchell, and I really love his sermons. And me and my wife would sit there with my kid and we'll try to read the Bible, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't understand a lot that's being said in it. So what we started doing was watch Philip Anthony Mitchell, and he's always like, do you want to hear my opinions or do you want to hear the word? And I'm trying to hear the word. I'm trying to hear what God's trying to tell me instead of your opinion or how you feel, because feelings will get you messed up out here. And I feel like people just have too much time on their hands. And what I noticed is people never question the history books, but they always question the history of God because
There you go.
people can't handle
Yeah.
real.
mhm.
And like people try to mold it to their own understanding. Like that's why there's so many different religions, because it's all about God, but people want to portray them and use them to their advantage. You know, like I can speak for myself. I battled a lot of demons, and I still do to this day. You know,
Right.
I'm a Christian, and I'm on my path to be better. But like sometimes we get stuck in the middle where we want to be of the world because we like what it has to offer. Because again, the devil is a lie, and the devil will show you everything that you want,
Mhm.
but not what you need. Like the past year, I just got into peace in my mind, and my family all realized how peaceful. I mean, I'm funny. I joke around. You know how it is.
Yep.
But the ones who are the funniest are the ones going through the most.
We go through a lot.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
It's like the past 4 years of my life have been heartbreaking. A lot of things. I have identical twins, and when we found out they were twins, they sent us to a specialist. They told me that they probably weren't going to make it. And to hear that, you know, while you're sitting in a room with your wife, and the doctor's telling you this, you know, it's like a movie. Like you don't know how to process it.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, but I would be in my car on my way to work crying every day. And I told God this, and this is the hardest prayer I ever prayed, but it's real. I told God, if it's meant for you, if it's your will to take my kids from me, I pray that you give me the strength to go through it. Let your will be done, not
Right.
mine. Because what I want is not what you want. Whatever you want is what I want. Because you see what's on the other side, I don't. You know what I'm saying?
I think that as Christians, for sure, you know, if you're really if trying to follow Christ, the main thing is understanding just that what you just said, which is like we need to remove our will and always give it over to His will.
Right.
I've been through a lot of dark times, and in particular, it's kind of strange for me because I feel like I threw off my own like being anointed, because I do feel like I was special, and I kind of like just like left that path and got deeper into the world and deeper and deeper, and you just edge deeper and deeper into the world. And I feel like God was like super patient with me. He protected me from so many things throughout my life until it was to a point where it's like, all right, you didn't got too far.
Yeah.
I tried to turn you around. You didn't want to turn around. And so now you're going to suffer worse than you ever have. And, I went through the only thing that could possibly phase me. I'm an unfazable person. And the only thing that could phase me did phase me. And it was like the thing that got me back on track. But the thing is that it was also a reminder of how we're not in control. And I had to just be asking God, like, just take control. Like, I don't even know anymore. I always been so confident in what I know is this and that until I got to a point where I realized I don't know anything. I really don't. Like the master plan that I had, it just seems like trash in comparison to the way that things are going. So now I live my life in a way of like just giving it over to his will, his will, his will. So to hear you say when you're going through a situation like that, and it takes spiritual wealth to recognize that nobody wants to, like, there will be people who are atheists who will see this and they'll be like, what do you mean you asked God for his will? Why didn't you just ask him to just save your kids? But they're lacking and they don't understand. They don't understand that we are not the architect here. Yeah. We're not the designer, and how arrogant or ignorant of us will we be to we don't know. We have to ask for God's will. Yeah. So I'm presuming your twins are fine.
Yeah. Now they're good, but it was a long road. They were in the NICU for 3.5 months. They were born at 27 weeks, 27 or 28, one of those. And me and my wife were going through it. We had my firstborn already born, and we weren't able to be with them because we were too focused on making sure our kids live. You know? Mm-hmm. But not once did we ever lose faith or question God. And I think that's a lot of maturity to go through, because, sometimes we want to question why me? Right. Why not you? Like, what makes us special than anyone else on this world? Yes. Nothing. Yeah. We are all human.
That's it.
And we all go through it, And I think the problem with people's opinion on Christians in general is they're like, I don't go to church because it turned me off because of the way I seen how these people were living. Well, bro, the church is like a hospital. People are sick and they're going there to get fed the word to be able to get better and better themselves. It's the medicine for us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the last one to talk because I'm not the best example either. But God says, don't look to man, look to me.
Right.
So, I could just try to, I had my thing, rugged individuals, running under God's grace every day. Mm-hmm. That was an acronym.
Yeah.
And, I won't, I'm still going to do something with it. Yeah. But that I hold that dear.
Oh, yeah. For sure. We all go through dark times, man. And as far as empathy goes, it's not a weakness at all. But I've been trying to get closer to God myself this year. And my thing is, every day I wake up in the morning, I find something I'm thankful for. Yeah. And I thank God for it. Because I wake up, even on my days off my days off from work are not my days off because I got to do stuff for this podcast, for the other podcasts that I'm a host and producer for, or for the production company, this and that. And it could be stressful and I could complain about it. Or I could be like, I'm thankful that I'm able to do this.
Right.
Because essentially this is the dream. This is what I want, I'm thankful for waking up in the morning. There's people that don't. I'm thankful to be able to work out.
Right.
Because there's people that wish they could walk and run.
To have those options.
Yeah, and they don't have those options. So we just got to be more thankful in general, bro.
I just want to pose a question and get everybody's response on it. And I'm going to start. I want you to answer it first. How do you feel about, do you feel that it is harder to be a Christian in today's society?
That's a good question. I feel like it depends. It just depends upon the person and the environment. And I'll break it down for you. So I got a homie that used to live in Oregon and then he moved to South Carolina. And I'd always visit him because he's a very near and dear friend to me. Shout out to George. We love you, brother. And he's soon going to be on the show whenever he comes out to the sinful city of Los Angeles. But when I would fly out and see him over there, bro, he lived in very Christian communities, right? Bro, and when you're out there, and you know me, I'm an avid smoker of cigarettes. When I was out there, bro, I didn't want to smoke a cigarette. I didn't want to drink because when you're around so many people that have the spirit, you just don't want to sin. And I don't know if you guys have been in places like that where it's these people are like so in tune with God, the Word and the Holy Spirit that you don't want to do anything, bro. I smoke, let's say around 8 to 9 cigarettes a day, right? Over there, bro, I would have one and it would be like disgusting smoking it. because the whole time I'm around these Christian individuals and they're just talking about God. And you see this new, like how we would talk about like the Kendrick halftime show.
Yeah.
That's how they're talking about Revelations or Acts or Job. And like, you see this new podcast where they were going deep on the Book of Solomon and this and this and that. So it's like
the conviction. That's
yeah,
what it is.
exactly. And then once I would come back to LA, bro, in this fast-paced, moving, sinful lifestyle, there I go again, lighting up a cigarette, doing this, doing that, going to the homies, partying, drinking. But when you're in a different situation, different scenario, it's completely different. So I feel like the environment matters. But if you're somebody if somebody is to give themselves to God, the environment shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But since I'm not completely going 100% giving myself out to there, I can only tell you about the differences I felt of being in the sinful world
Mhm.
and being in areas where it's just seclusion it's the Holy Spirit everywhere you look.
So would you say, if you had to wrap it up in a bow tie, do you believe that it's harder or easier to be a Christian in today's age?
Again, it's like a yes and no question because it has to go down to the person, bro. It really goes down to the person and their willpower and the environments they're in.
I get the environment thing about what you're saying, how you went over there and you felt like you didn't want to do this and that. But at the end of the day, too, you got to understand God is very accepting. So it's like I've been around Christians that are like so godly and this and that I feel like it's so wrong to drink around them or this, but you shouldn't feel that way. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I should be able to do that around you and you should accept it. But as far as your question, is it harder? I think what it is that Christians today, like there's Christians like us, right? Like I said, how we're accepting this and that, but there's the Christians that are just constantly judging you. And I feel like that's why people are scared to be Christian because they're portrayed a different way.
I guess, okay, before we get too much further too, do you feel like it's harder in the world though? So I wouldn't even necessarily say amongst other Christians. Do you feel like do you feel like Christianity is more under attack today than it ever was?
100%.
Yes.
It might.
That's what I should have said.
If that's the question, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But now, is it because social media is a thing now?
Yeah,
and there's more platforms?
that's a big problem because every time I'm scrolling on Instagram, if I'm battling with porn addiction and I'm on Instagram and I see a chick half naked, that's going to get my mind to get in tune with that. And then it's going to have my mind racing. You know what I mean? Like you can't take an alcoholic to a bar and expect him not to drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you got to know this stuff. Like if you're someone who battles drinking, which I did for a while, I changed my whole life around that because I just stood away from that. Now I'm at a point where somebody could drink around me and I'll be fine. But I think the biggest problem is that the acceptance thing I kind of disagree with because God's not accepting. He just has grace and he forgives. He doesn't accept you for being alcoholic. He just loves you enough to not let you go. Because I'm sure we have black sheep in our family that we do not accept anything they do. But we still love them.
That's true.
And we will forgive them because I could tell you from experience, a lot of people are scared to say it, but I'm not. Like people being gay, I love them. I don't accept it though. It's not right.
Right.
And it's not right biblically. Right. And I'm not gonna just give these people what they want to hear because that's what people do. People are so soft nowadays.
Oh yeah.
It's so crazy. Like you can't tell people nothing without them getting offended.
Exactly.
I think really this whole epidemic we had is what made everything wrong because people had too much time on their hands where all of a sudden now we have they, them, zims, all these.
I don't agree with any of that.
Like where did this come from? Like how did we get to this point? You know what I mean? But again, just like there's God, there's a devil, right? And the devil's going to use our weaknesses against us. The best, you know what I do? I always tell people to help them understand God because they say, if God is so real, why am I still dealing with this? Well, you're going to deal with life regardless, right? Life is going to happen. But I explain God and the Holy Spirit like a spotter in the gym. If I'm hitting just a bar itself, I could do this all day. Hallelujah. Thank God. I'm feeling great. But what happens when you throw a plate on there? I could tell you from my experience. My mom has stage 3 cancer. Throw that plate on there. Now I'm lifting that. My kids were probably going to die. Throw another plate on there. Now it's getting heavy for me. Life's getting heavy.
Right.
I find out my aunt is on a ticking time bomb. She's ready to go whenever God's planning to take her. Throw that on it. Her coming and saying that she might never get to see her daughters get married. Take that. How do you take that? And we throw another plate on it. It gets to a point where life throws so much at us, it gets so heavy, but God's there behind you to give you that spot.
Right.
It's not like he's going to set you free from everything of this world. This world's still going to happen. What does God say? This is the devil's world. It ain't his.
Not yet.
Right.
Exactly.
So
I think that these were like great perspectives. And then to share my perspective, which I used to kind of be similar perspective as what you guys have, given my perspective, like I said, again, everything that has been said are great points. I just know that as I get closer to God and the things that he reveals to me, it's almost comical. Like as I'm like, you thinking you're knowing and you have such a solid stance. And then he's like, well, how about this? And then you're like, oh, wow. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for him revealing this information. I don't believe that Christianity is more under attack than it's ever been. If anything, I believe that that is the deception behind it, because that can kind of make it more difficult for people to come. And what I mean by that is, can anybody here during your lifetime think of a time where the firstborn son of your family was going to have to be murdered just for being the firstborn son? No. Do you recall any of your relatives being thrown into a fire for saying that they were Christian?
Nope.
The worst thing that's going to happen to us today is somebody might try and cancel us on social media. They might try and pass some laws that really do not have an impact on our relationship with God. They might try and take God out of the schools, but they never forced us to take God out of our homes. When we look biblically, there was actual time frames where there were prophets who were told, you're not even allowed to worship God in your own home. They were coming in like, hey, we saw him praying in the corner of his house. Throw him into the lion's den.
They were taking the firstborn sons and everything.
They were. So exactly. And so the point, and it kind of even ties into what we were talking about earlier about like the different times and whatnot. I guess you could say it's different times, but we have it easy in comparison to the prophets who came before us and whatnot. And I think that that's something that we need to remember to give ourselves the motivation to keep going and to be grateful. Like, God, thank you for putting me on this earth right now, where if anything, if I want to worship and praise you, then maybe it just might be a little bit embarrassing amongst the world, but the world's not going to kill me for it. Now, that's not to take away from the fact that we hear about the stories like, I believe this is in the Congo where they beheaded the Christians over there. And there's, and it also goes into what you were saying about the environment, because there are places in the world right now where somebody is experiencing just that, where it's like you coming out and saying you're Christian is life or death for you. Mm-hmm. But I just personally feel like we are Americans here in America. And so pertaining to us, this is the easiest time. And I feel like there's so many baby Americans, and I'm not talking about none of us here. I'm talking about just these people who I don't even consider real Christians at the end of the day, like complaining about like what we're going through. And it's like, first of all, you're not even carrying out the walk the right way. I love hearing you speak about this because I can tell that you're carrying it out the right way. These are not things that are like self-serving that you've said. This is all God's will. This is all like outward. And that's what Jesus was. Jesus didn't do anything for himself. He didn't come and say like, yo, somebody come fix up my hair because I need to look like this. Somebody come give me your God. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall Jesus asking for anything from anybody while he was here.
Right.
No.
All he did is do for others. So when I see these podcasters, just to circle it right back around, talking about how like as Christians, we need to do this and we need to be less empathetic and all this, that's them saying something about themselves. They're not talking about how they are servicing the kingdom of God. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, how do you hear it all the time? A lot of the people will be like, that dude rubbed me the wrong way and he was a Christian. So if that's the way he's going to be, I don't want to be that. because they're judgmental and they're judging them for what they do. Right. And it's easy to judge because we all make judgments when we first meet somebody. Right. Yes or no?
I feel as if I'm gonna tell you right now. I feel like personally, you know me well enough. You know me now too and everything. And I know myself from my entire life. I've always felt like just like one of the like coolest people ever. Right. Yeah. Everywhere that I go. One moment that stood out to me was when I was a little kid. Again, I've always been Christian my entire life. From what I can remember, I've always believed in God. Always believed in this faith. There was a girl. I think I was probably like in the 5th grade, 4th grade, and thinking back on it now, she probably was some type of Middle Eastern. I'm not sure. Real fair skin. I don't think she was Armenian, but she's of Middle Eastern descent, and something happened and I brought up Christianity or whatever. And she was like, "You're a Christian?" And the way she said it and the way she was looking at me was like, no way you're a Christian. Now, mind you, we've been in elementary school together this whole time.
Yeah.
And it shocked me as a little kid that she didn't know that I was a Christian. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, why is that a shocker to you, surprise? Like, it's not like you just met me today or whatever. That's something that kind of stuck with me. And it goes into what you're saying about how people look at people who claim to be Christian and, they will make a determination of like, do I want to be a part of this or do I not want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
In this new walk of life that I'm on, this new path that I'm on right now, I'm extremely conscious of that. I'm conscious of how I argue with people, how I debate with people, because I really feel like I represent Christ because I'm speaking too outwardly about this. So I don't get the luxury of telling you guys about Christ and then I'm just cussing. And I'm, talking about all these girls that I slept with or talking about women I want to sleep with and dishonoring my wife. And I don't get to do those things because people know me as a Christian now. Mm-hmm. So if I go out and do that, then they're going to look and be like,
hypocrite.
Even if they don't look at me as a hypocrite, they're going to be like, why would I even say that I'm a Christian? This guy's living the same life that I'm living. Mm-hmm. So I don't even need to change.
Yeah. That's a crazy one because I think that's your maturity level. And I think it's certain things that helped you get to that point. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I've changed a lot since high school.
Yeah.
High school, I didn't give a damn. I mean, I still have that mindset, but I'm cautious. I'm going to have more conscience about what I'm doing.
Right.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. All this I know, I say God knows my heart, but I need to show it through my fruits, right?
Right.
I was reading Matthew. I don't know the exact verse, but it was talking about how when God went to Jerusalem, right? And when he went on that boat, he was hungry. And the way the pastor broke it down was like, when he's saying he's hungry, he's in human form. You can never say he doesn't know what you go through. He always knows how you feel, what you go through. He said, and then when he went to the fig tree, there was leaves, but there was no fruit. And if you know anything about a fig tree, when it grows, the fruit grows before the leaves. So he's like, something's wrong with that. And how are we as Christians showing other people? We show them by saying we're a Christian, but our fruits don't match. And we're not giving them something to match it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to lie to you. I battle that too. And, my career and everything I do, certain times the way I got to act, get out of character and become the world again sometimes. So I just want to let them know, I'm not perfect. And those who know me know I'm not perfect, but they know my heart and they see the growth as I'm going. And they're watching the transition and the transformation from not giving about nothing,
right,
going crazy. If anything, my wife knows the most. Yeah. My wife's been with me since I was 19. She's seen how crazy I was. She knew who I was before her. She saw what I was during her, and she still stuck it out and thugged it out to stay with me. And now she sees where I am at now. Yeah. And it's a total different. She saw the whole transformation. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to drink a lot. Now I don't take a sip at all.
Yeah, man. Both you guys have good women in your lives.
Hey, I want to say one thing. I just
have a good woman.
You need that. I want to say one thing, and then
maybe we should start like a dating thing.
Let me just say one thing, and then I'm gonna zip it, bro. Let me say one thing, and then I'll zip it, and then I'll zip it, and then I'll let you guys, because I know I've been going on. You were talking about the last thing you said. You were saying about
my wife.
No, before that about
the fruit,
the fig tree.
Yeah.
her
Yes.
being
Yes.
hungry.
Yes. And I told both. I don't know if I shared this with you or not. So I went to the ER a few days ago. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Okay. This you're gonna like this one, bro. Like,
What
so
happened?
I go into the ER because, as you guys know, America, worldwide, everybody, the aliens who are watching this too. I just told you guys that I was feeling, extreme pain. Everything that I was dealing with had a root canal. I didn't know if it was a TMJ. I didn't know what it was, but I was in extreme pain. So I figured I'm gonna go to the ER because I'm gonna just nip this in the butt. Like they're gonna run the X-rays or whatever. They're gonna tell me what's wrong. I wait. I get processed in. I go into the little room, which is really just one big room, and they just have these paper partitions. So it's like we're all in the same room, right?
Yeah.
And I go in at the same time as his other brother. Like they send him to the on the other side of the partition. And when he goes in, and we're waiting, the doctor comes in. She comes in, and remember, it's a partition paper, so I should be able to hear everything that's happening. And when the doctor goes over there, I don't even hear what this dude is saying. That lets you know he's trying to be secretive about whatever it is he's saying, because I can't even hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, she goes into like the hallway section area, again, still in the same room. And she just starts telling the nurse, like, so what do we do for gonorrhea for men? Do we like swab the penis too? Or do we do the same thing for the women? And she goes on for like 2 minutes, just speaking loud and clear.
And he's trying to be secretive.
He's trying to be secretive. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this is terrible. Like, I'm not laughing or nothing. I'm grown, but I'm just like that's crazy, right? So now it's my turn. So now she comes into to my area, right? And I'm telling her, I'm explaining to her what's happening. I'm explaining I have pain here, and here, and everything. And long story short, it seemed like she was listening and paying attention. And then out of nowhere, like in the middle of us going back and forth with the responses, she was just like, yeah, and this and this. And I'm just dealing with people in here who are actually dying and da-da-da. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Hold on. Why are you telling me this? Like, I'm in here because I'm in pain. I don't know what you're...
I would have been pissed.
Right? But I'm...
Exactly.
I would have been real pissed.
She's still playing her little slick role. She continues on or whatever. And I said, listen, like, I tell her, can you do anything for me? Because she's telling me she's not going to do nothing for me. Like, pretty much just going to tell me, oh, go to the dentist or whatever. And I'm telling her, it's not a dental problem I'm having. I'm like, can you run an x-ray or something? She's like, oh, you don't need an x-ray. And then I'm like, well, I'm in pain. She's like, she puts her hand on my leg and she's like, I'm treating people who are dying. And then she just turns around and walks out the room.
Oh, no. I would have.
This
Yeah.
is
right at
This is
all.
what I've been saying, that our
I know.
medical systems
It's
in
horrible.
America
Horrible.
is so flawed. They never get to your solution. They're just gonna give you something that is gonna take away that symptom out of that time. No,
And
I know what
create
you're saying
another.
exactly.
Yeah,
and
exactly, yeah.
while you have
Big pharma.
you have
all
a high blood pressure, take this, but they're not gonna tell you that it's fucking killing your liver and it's murdering your fucking kidneys on the side. So while you're fucking dealing with this high blood pressure and it's going down because of these medications, you're fucking shooting the shit out of your liver and your kidneys. Which I know I went a little differently, but just to come back with that's fucking disgusting. What the fuck does that have to? It
Well, hold
pisses
on.
me off. This topic always pisses me off.
As mad as you are about this, I was that times 20 because my face is in pain. So,
Yeah.
so right, so
I
like,
need this
You should have
figured
just
out
called
now.
me. Like, wait, hold on.
hold on, speak to my associate.
Speak to my lawyer.
But listen though.
I just pick up like RFK. Sorry.
We need to know why you're treating Javon this way. But listen though, but the point that I'm making, bring it back in, get serious for a moment. The point that I'm making is that as angry as I was, as well as I know how to cuss, as well as I know how to tell somebody off, the thought that crossed my mind is I'm representing Christ right now. Whether I've told her that I'm Christian or not, no matter what, that's what I'm doing. And so I didn't cuss her out. I had to find other words. I had to find other words to let her know that I was disappointed in the way that what she was doing and whatnot. I had to talk to the other people that were coming in and find another way. And it can be difficult. It can be difficult because the words are right there. The FUs and this B and all that, it's right there. But who are we representing? Am I representing Javon or am I representing Christ? Who's going to get me into heaven, me or Christ? Who's going to reward me in life, me or Christ? The answer to every single thing that I can ask myself and that you can ask yourself is going to be Christ. And so, yeah, that's all I wanted to say was just that we got to do better in representing Christ. Because we represent ourselves perfectly.
Exactly. You
100%.
show your face regardless if you want to show it or not, even if you think you're in a mask. Like the Japanese say, the man has 3 faces, right? One that he knows of, one that his family and friends know of, and one that the world knows about. But Christ only has 1 face, and that's the truth in life.
So you just watched Shogun?
Huh? No, I didn't. But
You need to watch it because it's good, bro.
haven't.
That was in there. No, that's good. Watch it. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah.
I saw on like, those quotes on like Instagram and shit. I just came across it.
It was from Shogun.
Perfect time to implement it. But since for sure, we do need to represent Christ in everything we do. And I always told people like, what would Christ do? What would Jesus do? Right?
Mhm.
That's all that it comes down to. Don't try to do all this other stuff. People want to be aggressive, active, this and that. It's all a wrap, bro. If you say you are a Christian, what comes first? Does the life that you live in the streets, your ethics, your morals, and even just having these conversations with us, not only opens our eyes, I hope it opens our audience's minds, because it opens mind just talking with
This
you, having
it's like therapy. for
true
us, you know?
100%, bro. And it's like when me and you have those 8-hour conversations, just this
Yes.
right now too. Me and this guy go on a call for 2 minutes, bro. It's like a yes or no question, and before you know it, it's like,
just-
bro, I gotta go to sleep, G. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's whatever
Down a
it may
rabbit
be.
hole.
Yeah.
Something I do want to talk about is like your environment, who you have around you, who you've had to let go in the past. Because me and this guy, we were talking because, like we said, we went to high school together, right? And he was all like, "Oh, who do you still talk to? You still talk to this person, that person, vice versa," because we thought we were gonna be best friends with these people for life, right? And then what? And shit happens where it's like, bro. And I've told you guys this on episodes in the past, where it's like I've literally housed people, I clothed people, I didn't charge them rent because they needed a place to stay. I've done this for them, that for them. I was there for them in their like dark times, right? But when I was going through my dark times, none of them were there for me.
Mhm.
And it comes with also like me building up my dream, right? Like I'm doing something with my life. I've always said I was gonna be a film director, writer, producer, right? Ortega knows this.
Yeah.
He knows this about me. I've been working my ass off to get here, bro. So, but when you fall, you got to bring yourself back up, this and that. I was there for them, but they were never there for me.
Mhm.
So you got to like let them go and this and that.
I was told by one of my buddies, he's rich. If this guy has money, he's very wealthy. And he told me, you never burn a bridge. You let them burn the bridge.
Right.
And when they burn the bridge and when they find out that they actually need you, they'll work tenfold to make sure they get you back and to make sure
100%.
you're taken care of.
Yeah.
You know? And again, going back to God, right? I'm not burning bridges. I'm gonna be me 110%. And people are gonna stay or they're gonna go.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing I had to come to realization with. Because if in reality, if I had friends, I would have millions of people. Millions of people. I all over the place. But in reality, I can count my real friends, 2, 3 of them. That's it.
Yep.
Right? Shout out to them. But it's because people sometimes are so selfish, they don't want to see you do better than them.
Right.
The only man that wants to see you do better than them is your father.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I live at peace because I know that I love to see everyone win. Like, I have no hate bone in my body
Same.
when it comes to that. You're doing your thing. I told you, I'm proud of you. You're
Yeah.
doing your
I
thing.
appreciate that.
We're both I was doing my music.
Yeah.
I was doing everything. And you know how good that was going.
Mhm.
And you were doing that and you stuck to it and you pushed through and now look at you.
Mhm.
You're doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? And it just depends. You got to find your people, but your biggest support group is your family.
Yeah.
The ones you make. Like my wife, she's my best friend because anything I'm going through, she's there and she don't judge me. And she helps make a solution for me. That's why women, I like, for me, having a partner is very important because they're that piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, yes, I'm very traditional and a lot of feminists are going to hate me and I don't care. You know, men lead the household and the women are there to bring joy to your life, they have to be an asset, not a liability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I've had that in the past where it's liabilities, bro. You know, like I've had 2 solid relationships in my whole life. You know, like there's people that have like, oh, they're my age and they've had like 8 girlfriends, 9 girlfriends. That's like, bro, how do you have that many girlfriends? Or girlfriends that have like 8 or 20 fucking boyfriends. How do you have that many boyfriends?
So who's the
Like,
whore? Who's the
yeah,
whore at
yeah.
this point?
You know, but it's like, how do you trust yourself to be in a relationship this many times in your life? I've only been in 2 solid relationships. And within the span of one relationship lasted like 4 years. The other one lasted like 6.
Mhm.
They weren't meant for me.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't meant for them. It is what it is. Both partners will make mistakes. But I'll say this, like my last one, I wanted to level up. Okay. And she didn't want to do that with me. She just kept wanting to party and this and that. I was working for iHeartRadio, bro, the #1 media company in the world. She went to school for radio. I offered, let me buy you some podcast equipment, do this so you can come inside. She was like, oh, you can't just give me a job? No, because all you did was graduate college. I'm
Right.
sorry, but for me, college is a scam
100%.
unless it has to do with like a doctor or some type of trade, right? Your boyfriend is in the #1 media company in the world offering to buy you this podcast equipment, make some good content, and then I can bring you in. And she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
Because you don't
it's
even
like,
want to get brought in like that.
yeah.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, bro, it was like, she was mad if I'm working too much, or she was mad if I wasn't making enough money.
Yeah.
What's gonna make you happy? What's gonna satisfy?
And that was the red flag right there.
Bro, that's
My girl
crazy.
been with me, so I was scraping change to go eat In-N-Out. Me and her
Right.
both.
Yeah.
She was there for me from the beginning, and I put tests in the way to see if she was worth
Right.
making my wife and carrying my last name.
As we should.
You know,
I
and
think as
and,
men, we need to do that.
and even if I wasn't broke and I was making the money I do now, I would still advise guys you have to put them through certain tests.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, I lost my job. I ain't got nothing going for me. Like, you got me, like,
Yeah.
until I figure it out. And if they got you, then, you know, you found a good one. If they
Yeah.
don't, then you already know their intentions,
Mhm.
regardless, you know? And women are too on that woman empowerment thing. I'm a boss. I'm this and that. Guys don't want that. We're very simple.
Right.
You cook for me. You clean my house. You make my house a home.
Yep.
You make sure, you know, I leave empty sexually.
Yeah. Empty balls and
yeah.
feet and
A full
what is it?
stomach.
It's like, yeah, full
Empty
stomach
balls and a full
empty balls,
stomach.
like,
I'm
Yeah.
good.
That's it.
We're not that hard to please, and don't nag us.
Mhm.
We can have conversations and we can go on that, but don't go above and beyond. And don't give me. As men, we deal with so much in our head and our mind, and we go to
Yes.
work and deal with the world. And then when we come home, we want to be able to feel like we could take off that armor and
Yeah.
relax.
I don't want to have to get home to an argument
Yeah.
for nothing. I don't want to have to get, you know, like if I want to stop by a bar and have a beer, I'm gonna stop by a bar and have
Yeah.
a
Well, hold on
If I
a
wanna
second,
get-
Moses.
hold on.
That's not how it works. So go ahead.
If I want to kick it with the homies a bit, I'm gonna kick it with the homies. Not that we're doing nothing wrong. Most of the times when we're kicking it with friends, dog, what are we doing?
This,
This.
yeah,
Straight up.
Talking about our feelings. And we talk to other men about our feelings because we can't talk to men and to women about men's feelings. They're not gonna understand. Just like how women talk to women about each other's
We're
feelings.
gonna use it against you.
What's
And
as a-
that's
as a woman would.
another thing that I
Yeah.
noticed, like in the past, where if I do give my feelings to like my girl, if we get in an argument, she'll use what I told her as ammo against me.
I've seen that
It's like, why are you like I told you this shit, and
confidence.
yeah,
But you know what though? Okay, so
That's just how girls are, real quick. That's just how their brains are like wired, bro.
Yeah, that's why we love
Whatever
my wife
ammunition
more.
they give you, you give them, they're gonna use toward against you. Me, I haven't. It's not been done towards me because I'm very picky on who I talk with, what I indulge with who. But I've seen it happen to close people of mine where I'm like, bro, be careful of this girl. Don't be opening up like this. And they were a little bit more on the
yeah. It's
not the manlier, like they were men, but they were just a little bit softer type shit.
there's a. Have you guys heard of this thing called Passport Boys?
no,
Passport Bros.
Passport Bros. Okay,
on
where
Instagram,
so
I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie to you.
So
They're living their best life.
Yes, bro. That's what it is.
if that's it, like, first of all, I'm living my best life, but I'm just saying, like, just a side comment on that.
Yeah.
If they go and they find themselves the right woman, then yes, they're living their
Okay,
best life.
so check this out, right? I'll tell you guys a little story this week. So I met this girl at the Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
She's Colombian.
Mm.
She's been over here for a year.
Papers.
No, I mean she's already good. She
Oh,
already
okay,
has all her
alright.
stuff.
Someone else got her the papers.
So here's the thing: she's actually going through a divorce right now.
Wow.
I'm not gonna mention her name. Hopefully, she just watched this episode. And
That's red flag
Sure,
already.
it's like,
But-
he's talking about you.
yeah. But here's the thing. I gotta say, bro, I kicked it with her on what day was it? Wednesday. I kicked it with her, right? Bro, she's treated me way better than any girl in America ever has.
Yeah.
So passport boys or bros, whatever, is this thing where men from America go to like Colombia or like Europe or these other places where the women, they still keep it traditional. Bro, she's a traditional woman.
You can still find them out
She
here.
is
Yeah.
beautiful. Like beautiful. But she was like treating me in a way where I was like, huh, you
But-
could be the one.
But that's a red flag already, though. She's been divorced.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I give
I
my
know.
respects. I give my respects to men who can take care of another man's child.
And I can't do
I-
that. That's the
I
thing.
can't do that,
I
though.
can't do that.
Because for me, I need to know that we're
Yeah.
sharing this experience together.
Yeah, and I feel like
It's a
honestly,
sentimental
I would
moment.
favor like my actual seed rather than.
Well, I'll say this to counter
So
that.
I'm gonna knock her off the list already, but
No.
she's-
I mean, look, I would say
Do
this. Here,
I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna knock her off the. You get what I mean?
I'm gonna say this. That it sounds good, right? But you know, like I've had this conversation with my wife, right? So we have 5 kids. We have 5.
And that's a blessing, bro.
It is a blessing.
That is such a blessing.
If these 5 kids were not mine, and I still met my wife,
Mhm.
that this is because a lot of times we apply to like a general situation, but we don't get specific. My wife specifically, for me, if I met her and she had 5 kids, I would still be down to marry her.
Really?
I would love to tell you that I wouldn't like because I'm thinking about the bad cases, the worst ones where we're thinking like I definitely wouldn't marry or give my time for these other people, but I know her and I know what she has to offer, and I just got to say like we all have like that point of redemption, like even us as men, right? Where it's like we may not be the best case scenario for like what women would get amongst circles and be like, that's the type of man that I would want. But there is a uniqueness. And we also kind of got to like sort of dead the red pill arguments of these clowns who are on social media
Mhm.
telling us, because they make solid points, but then it's like, wait a second, they're speaking to in general. There is always an exception to these rules and whatnot, right? So am I going to advise my son, like, go out and find a woman who's already this or that? No, I can't. But at the same time, I have a stepfather, right? And it's like, well, was my mom not good enough because she already had 2 failed marriages and 3 kids, right? He thought she was good enough, and they've been married this whole entire time. You know, you will meet some incredible people who were like very at a stupid place in their life and then maybe grow out of it. It may not be as common, but it is a possibility.
Mhm.
So I think the thing that I preach more than anything else is, you guys said like what a girl will do, and I agree, a girl will do that, but a woman won't. And there's things that a boy will do, but a man won't. And so like I think when you're interacting with anybody out in the world, it's like a way that you need to interact and be serious in your intentions and find somebody else who's serious in their intentions. And you can avoid a lot of the smoke that maybe they gave somebody else in their life, because let's be honest, we all know we probably gave somebody some smoke when we were younger, bro, that we would not give out now, you know?
Right, yeah, definitely.
I have one other thing to say, before these cameras click off on your boy, because the cameras do click off, America, and then we got to click them back on. But before it clicks off, if I can get it out, what I was going to say is that I actually spoke to a woman about, and she said that these men out here in this market are playing. She's like, from now on, she's the next dude that I talk to, I'm going to give him 2 years. And after 2 years, if he's not marrying me, then I'm cutting him off. And I said, that's a mistake.
Wow.
She said, that's a mistake. And she said, why is that a mistake? I said, because you're going to give this man all the privileges for 2 years. And then when that time comes and you force it and he's like, I already got everything, I'm out. You need to step in the door telling them, are you interested in a marriage? Are we working towards this? Because this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And we need to do the same thing as men.
Mhm.
Stop coming and looking for these beautiful women and not asking them right off the bat whatever it is you want. Are you interested in being a traditional woman? Are you interested in cooking for me? I need my feet rubbed.
Yeah.
Are you interested in this?
Yeah.
These are the questions you need to get off right off in the beginning, bro.
Every time I go out with the girl now, I let them know my intentions right away. I let them know how busy I am, what I want to do in my dream,
Mhm.
how I got no time for a relationship. So if you're expecting to spend every moment of your day with me, like that's just not gonna happen. because I got dreams and aspirations that I want to fulfill, right?
But how are you supposed to get a wife like this?
But but here's the thing. But I also say, like, look, it's not the fact that I'm looking for a wife,
Okay.
but it's not the fact that I'm not looking for a wife as well. No, like not. So like if it happens,
No, you not nodding.
yeah, I'm not nodding.
No, you are not nodding.
Is that the wrong thing to say?
Yes, bro.
Why is that the wrong thing to say, bro? Because I'm trying to explain to them, look, like, I would love to give you my full attention, but unfortunately, because I'm chasing this dream, I can't. But if you're willing to rock with me
And work with it.
and work with it, then we can figure it out together.
Because the
I don't
right
think
woman
that's
for
wrong.
me is not the right woman for you. And the right woman for him is not the right woman for him. So there's a woman out there who will fit yours.
right?
I don't think you're wrong, bro. Because
You
if
don't
you're
think I'm
trying
wrong?
to be on a right,
You don't think
intention-
I'm right? Because I
I think you probably worded it a little wrong because of what he's saying. Like
right.
your whole goal is to say that you need someone that's gonna be there no matter what.
Yeah,
Type
The
shit,
busy
yeah.
days, the busy
Exactly.
nights, no nagging because you're
Yeah.
chasing a dream right now. And if she's either gonna be with you on the ride together or she's gonna try to drag you down from the ride.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
nicer way of saying
and
it.
it's
for sure.
because like I've had this problem in the past where it's like I'm either working too much, I'm not making enough money.
Once a girl brings up money, then you
okay,
just
so
shut the fuck up.
Javon, what's a good way to word that?
Okay,
Because I'm gonna use this exact line
Okay.
on the next girl and see how it works.
I'll flip it for you.
Maybe
and I'll put
everybody should.
I'll do
word
it like
in
this.
a
Look, this
way.
is what I'm saying. This is what
Okay.
I'm getting at. We spend too much time looking outward and not looking inward,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so like at the end of the day, are you somebody's ideal husband today, right?
Mhm.
And when you approach the situation, are you that? But I don't think that we focus on that, but we focus on these women being our ideal women and wives today. And the problem is that there's this battle going on instead of us. If you worry about you and they worry about them, then things are going to work out. It's going to come together and be perfect. Would you agree that your wife is your greatest support system? Obviously outside of God and everything,
Yeah.
and everything that you have right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that you thrive more because you have a wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Help me in different ways, yeah.
Thank you. And all I'm pointing out is we can say everything that we say, but any real married man knows that you thrive more with the wife. And so that's why when I look to my friends who don't have a wife yet and who also don't have children yet, I pray for you and I hope that you can get there quicker because I'm like, if we can be an asset to each other and in each other's lives as we are,
Mhm.
like, bro, like Moses, bro, the man that you're going to be when you have a wife and children, you will be 50 times better than what you
I
are.
believe it. bro.
And harder,
I believe-
yeah.
I believe it 100%. I'm not saying that I want to be single the rest of my life.
Of
I
course.
definitely don't. I was raised in a good family home. I mean, my parents are divorced
Yeah.
now. They went through a divorce when I was in high school and everything. But growing up, those memories are so precious to me.
Yeah.
And I want that to continue. I want to break those generational curses
There you go.
of families departing, you know? I want a great wife and I want my kids raised by great parents.
Would you be afraid if you met your wife today?
As long as she's supportive of and understanding of what I do
Mhm.
and that I can't give my full attention to her, I would not be afraid at all.
But you would be giving her your full attention because if she's your wife, she's going to understand and your guys' lives will mesh together. Like
But-
right now,
but-
like right
okay,
now,
but-
right now, my wife is not here, but she's still getting my attention.
How so? Because you're over here working. So that's
exactly,
kind of where I'm like,
exactly, because she knows that what I'm doing here is going to contribute to my household.
mm,
I'm not out in the world. Like I'm not here. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, right. Like everybody likes me, right? We're all here, but we're not here BSing around. Right.
right.
And I'm very particular with my time and where it's going
Mm,
because I always have to have this battle of like, I can go kick it with the homies or I could train my son to be a better man
right.
or I could teach my daughter about how to be a better woman or I can spend more intimate moments with my wife to reassure her of what it is that she means to me and she can do the same for me.
Mm,
And so like what it comes down to is like, I don't really want to be anywhere outside of my family unless something productive is taking place.
right.
And if I do, the thing for me is I want to take my wife with me. So like, all right, if we're going to go somewhere and nothing productive is happening, well, at least she needs to be there with me.
Right, right.
If we're going to be like doing
Yeah.
stuff, and that's just me though. I know
No,
some
it's-
people
it's
want to,
understanding.
I
for sure.
have zero interest in, I'm just going to say this and then I'll let you guys carry it on. I'm the type of dude where I don't really have an interest in like getting away from my wife. I've met plenty of dudes who are like, they need that space.
That's
Yeah.
all I know at work. right?
That's crazy. Bro.
Everyone at work would rather be at work than be at home with their wife and kids. Either their kids hate them or the wife doesn't want to deal with them, so they go and cheat on their wives and do all that stuff. And it's crazy because I'm not the type. I go against the grain. I'm not going with it.
Exactly.
I'm happy at home. I'd rather be home than be at work.
Mhm.
You know, I make work, but I'd rather be at home. But back to what you said about being productive, right? Being productive doesn't automatically mean dollar signs, right?
Right.
Like this is now I'm not making nothing off this,
None
right?
of
But
us
it
are,
didn't. This for me is being able to kick it for my mental health
Right.
and speak to you guys and have conversations with other men that are going through the same problems. My wife knows she don't bug me. She won't not blow up my phone. My wife knows I go to the on my days off. I'm going to the gym.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 2 a.m. I'm going to the gym,
Right.
and she does not question it at all,
I-
at all. But they're like going back to about you dating.
Yeah.
My best advice, right? You're well established, so it's not like you started from the mud with somebody,
Mhm.
right? You're well established. Go have some coffee, have a conversation, see what their intentions are. Tell them what your intentions are. Explaining your lifestyle and explaining your standards. Like, and people get at me for this because they think that like I'm crazy, but I don't care. I have standards, and you
Everyone
better
should have
meet
standards. Yeah.
meet my criteria. And if you don't, respectfully, I'm out
Mhm.
because I don't got time to play games with little girls or
Right.
that. So with my wife, I let her know, hey, this is what I expect, X, Y, and Z. If you're up for it, cool. If you're not, some women that are feminists say I'm like a machismo man,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I listen to my wife and I take what she says, but she trusts me and respects me. The key word is respect.
Mhm.
Respects me enough to know that I'm what I say at the ends all be all. If I feel like her advice isn't good enough.
Mhm.
Oh, but you know, sometimes my wife comes with some heaters and we're gonna go with her plan. You know what I'm saying? It just depends, bro. It all depends. But for you, you need to just make sure you have your standards and you don't let no one else tell you otherwise.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying have some crazy standards where this chick needs to be a 10.
Yeah.
She needs to have the biggest
Well,
booty you've ever seen.
All these
Like-
people have those. Like even the women, like, oh, my man needs to be 6'2", 6-pack, make 7 figures, this and that.
And guess
like,
where they're at right now? They're 32 years old with 5 cats.
yeah.
Yep.
And
They ain't
OnlyFans
married.
that's making nothing.
They ain't married. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like a man cares about a woman's past. A woman cares about a man's future.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay?
There you go.
They're worried about what we're going to do in life. Like, I was having this argument with somebody. I was like, if I was single now, I'd be okay to date a chick that worked at McDonald's. They're like, you're sick. She's a loser. What are you talking about? I'm like,
It's crazy.
What are you talking about, dude?
And I
White
said-
guy voice case.
Not even
said-
Wingstop? No, I'm just-
McDonald's.
nah, but if she's genuine and because we make money, we all make money here.
Mhm.
Do we really care about a woman's job
0%.
title?
Nah.
Zero.
No, we
Like,
care about
not
what
at
they're
all.
bringing to the table in the
I wanna
household.
Make sure that you're gonna exactly. That's what it
Exactly.
is. Take
Yeah.
care of that household. Take care of the kids. You know, like
Bro,
you said, empty balls and a full stomach.
Yes.
That's what
at
I
the
care
end of the
about.
day, with this whole thing is, I think it is correct. You tell a girl your intent, and this is how I want you to be.
Thank you.
There's just a beautiful way of formulating your words so it reaches the feminine mind correctly.
Right.
You get what I'm saying too? Because they're women at the end of the day. They can't
Yeah.
change it. We're men.
Yeah.
We have our flaws. Women have their own flaws too. And
Mhm.
sometimes when they just misunderstand something, then it can be swayed differently. But again, if they're that women, any way you say it to them, they're gonna understand it. That not that girl, like you said, but that woman.
Yeah.
But do you guys still want to talk about this? 'Cause I
No,
wanna-
no,
I don't know.
One thing I will say is like the,
Hey,
the women that want like the men to like stay home with them and everything, and they don't want like them to go out with the boys and shit. I'll say this much: you empty that man's ball sack, he's gonna stay home 100%. He ain't going out at all because he's laid back, he's chilling, and that's it.
So look, we've been talking about this the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And I swear, look who's calling me right now.
Oh,
Is this
man.
rats of the day?
Just
or
call him
what's
back.
this?
Don't Corleone. He just hung up because we pinged him. Oh, he's calling again. This is very
Yeah,
random.
I need to hear his
Hold
thoughts
on,
on
hold
this.
on. Now I'm gonna ask Don Corleone what he thinks about this. I didn't even call him. He's calling me. So let's see what he says. Buenas noches, signore Don Corleone.
That's a song right there.
This is real music, dog. Don Corleone, ¿cómo está?
Is he there? you just playing
This is Don Corleone's hold music. When he's like, I gotta take you on hold, this is what you hear.
The elevator music? Or
He's
Don
just vibing.
Corleone, what's cracking?
Buonasera. Buonasera. Maximus, my boy. I need you to do me this favor. And for this favor, I will not forgive. You will take Clemenza, Natalia, intercept the package and throw it in the lake with the fishes. Then as a favor to my daughter or my daughter's husband's wife's husband's dogs, uncles, mailman's cats, wedding day, I will do you this justice. And for this justice, I will also not forgive. But on this day, this very day, I'll remember this service. And I will ask for another service just because I can. Because I'm the godfather. And next time, when I call you the first time, you pick up the godfather's call. The next times, if I call you and you don't pick up, it'll be you that Clemenza and Natalia are taking to the fishes.
Don Corleone, I was presenting you, and then you didn't. The call didn't go through fully, but
Let me put you on hold again.
Don Corleone, what do you think about women nowadays? Do you think they're bitches or what?
Why do you use this term? A real woman, a real maiden from my time wouldn't do any of this OnlyFans bullshit. And if you're an OnlyFans model, the only thing I can tell you, buonasera, buonasera. And then, to all the real women, like my wife, the godmother to your child, I say,
Well, there you have it.
There you have it. There you have it. Don Corleone, thank you.
what did you say?
I said thank you, Don Corleone. We appreciate your feedback.
Hold on. I'm getting a call.
Okay, Don Corleone, thank you. We're gonna continue on with the show. We love you.
Was I done talking?
And my condolences to Sonny.
Yeah, our condolences to Sonny, dog.
What did you say about my boy? My dear boy, who they murdered in cold blood. And they took from me. They massacred my boy. They took him from me.
Don Corleone, you're gonna make me cry right now, please.
This fool.
Don Corleone, we love you. We're gonna continue on with the show. Buonasera and buona notte.
Buonasera. Arrivederci. Buonasera.
Arrivederci. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Let me say-
I know this is random, but if you guys could live like anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Fucking Italy.
My house. I would live in my house
money
rent
is not a
free.
factor.
My house rent free. What about you? Where would you?
I feel like I would like to live in Europe.
In Europe? I thought you were gonna say Italy after that.
Well, I mean, Italy is part of Europe.
Is it, though?
It is.
Yeah.
Of course, bro.
I'm
No,
an American,
if-
bro. I
I
don't
mean, I'm
know
not,
these things.
I'm
No, I'm
not a
saying-
geometry teacher.
No,
but-
in America, if I had to choose Miami 100%.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
For sure, I can see you in Miami for sure.
Oh,
For
come
sure.
Are you racially profiling?
No.
Nah,
That's-
just the vibe he gives,
Yeah.
you know.
Just that was the perfect
But you
racial
got people in
profile.
Miami, right?
Yeah, we got people in New York,
No,
Miami.
like your people, like your personal
Armenians?
No,
people. No, like your
your
friends. Like
Oh,
your
yeah, I got friends, but they're older over there.
Oh, okay.
They're older, more
How
established.
many
They're just
times-
chilling.
How many times have you been to Miami?
Miami once, but I had a blast, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful. New York too, specific areas in Manhattan I would live in.
Yeah.
And speaking in America. In California, bro, just you gotta live by the beach if you're gonna stay in Cali, I feel like. And if you got the money. Other than that, Miami is the way, bro.
I in California, I'm like, I want to live where it's quiet and
Yeah.
just have access to everything, which I currently do.
I
Yeah.
think the city, and I'm not gonna name it. The city we all went to school in and everything. It's
Alhambra.
probably, it's literally like one of the best cities in all.
Very chill city, bro.
Bro, it's
I disagree. I hate it now.
Really? Why?
You know, when my parents bought their house and we moved, I was like, man, I don't want to go out there. That's a
You
little
moved from-
far.
you
I'm
moved
going
right there from down the street from me in El Sereno
and yeah,
to
and then-
Alhambra, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
I lived in El Sereno for a few years and then went to Alhambra and then I went to the Alhambra School District with you and then me and you met and you know with all that. But my parents wanted to leave after we graduated, so they moved out, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go. That's too far. I don't know anything about that spot. Now I want to stay out east more. I'd rather be away from all the clutter. Like, I hate going to LA, even though I love some of the stores out there because, you know, I'm into fashion. I like to go shop, but I hate it because the streets are too packed for me.
I get that, but I think that's why I like Alhambra because it's not too congested.
I feel
but
like
it's
it
close
is
to
compared to
everything.
where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
Like where I'm at,
I see
a little
that.
20-minute drive is nothing to me.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it because I'm still close to everything.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't see myself going anywhere or just about where I'm at out east. I'm good.
I want to, you know, as we're coming closer to the end of this episode, something that I want to bring up that we used to do a lot of, but then the internet got boring. But now it's gotten interesting again. Is I want to bring up a thread.
Oh, no way.
Nice.
Okay, so we were doing these threads, like Javon was pulling up these threads. I think it had to be like the first like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And I keep telling this film, like, dog, you got to keep bringing that up because it's such a good like little bit that we got going on.
There was just no good threads for a long time.
Okay, but you found some.
I'm going to bring up one thread, right? And I'm not even going to read the thread, but I'm going to paraphrase the thread to you. So the thread was posted by a woman,
Of course.
a single mother, and the story was that apparently, and I need to get your thoughts on this because, and the reason I even thought about this thread is because of how you said that nowadays, like, women will probably look at you as being like machismo or whatever, and that's what I was being called in because I got into the conversation, right?
Okay.
But anyways, what she posted is that I guess she has a son and she has a daughter, and the father of the 2 kids will be calling and FaceTiming the daughter and giving the daughter full-blown attention and things like that. But according to her, he was neglecting the son. Like, he wouldn't ask how the son was doing or wouldn't reach out to the son. So because of this, she decided that the best option for her to do was to limit the communication between the father and the daughter because she was trying to protect the son.
Retarded.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's retarded. How are you protecting yourself?
Now, this thread had hundreds of comments and replies from so many women who were saying that she did the right thing.
Of course.
And I said on
women trying to support women.
no, it's bad women trying to support bad women,
that's a great
right?
way to put it, yeah.
And I said,
They're beautiful. And great.
what are you doing? I'm like, so because this relationship may be messed up according to you, we're gonna mess up too?
Yeah, let's mess up both.
Yeah, like I'm like, you realize the stats of not having a father in a child's life, what that means, like, so now you're gonna put those stats on both kids. And I'm like, and you're using your daughter as a tool. What does she do? She's over here just having a great time with the dad and everything like that. So you're going to take that away because you want to use her as a tool to manipulate. Are we all in agreement here that that's what's happening here?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The whole thing's messed up because one, the dad, you with your children, there's no favorites. You love them all the same. Those are your kids. You know, you might vibe with one more like he's like you, but I love all my sons the same. I can't see myself neglecting any one of them because of any reason, to be honest. But that's messed up in its own. And then the mom thinking that's right. But you got to understand, women think with emotion, men think logically.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest issue is when you think with emotions, you're not going to get any goodness out of it. Nothing's coming good from that.
Right.
Right? Because how many times we got something that happened where emotionally we want to get out and go kill somebody or, but we think logically like, okay, well, if I do that, I got my kids in the car. Like we think with logic. Logic's always going to win.
Oh, logic has saved me so many times. If I would have thought with emotion, if I would have acted on emotion every time, I'd be in prison for life, probably.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Like, I'm sure all of us.
All men
could
that have
agree,
brains.
Like I told you about this story when I found out what was happening with the ex and all of that. It's like, bro, like I'd be locked up right now. This podcast would not be happening right now. Like whatever's going on with my life would not be happening. But then you think logically, like if I do this, fast forward to X amount of years. Okay. Let's not let that happen.
Well, that's why I'm such an advocate for like male and female relationships. And like, I'm not really on the man's side or the woman's side. I'm more on the side of that the Christ, the way that he explained that this relationship was supposed to go down, because, I feel for you, and that type of, we don't want to label it the wrong thing and come off as weak,
Right.
but like that pain or that hurt or even the anger of being in a situation like that. And so I'm always advocating for people to do things to avoid that, to avoid being in those situations and to avoid putting somebody else in that situation. So I get it. And it's the only way around it, bro, is the maturity and the advice. Because then I had some women in that same thread asking me like, "Well, what would you suggest she do?" I said, "What I suggest."
Of course, you were arguing with them. Of fucking course.
Of course, I was, bro.
I can picture Javon too, like
Nah, because
Candles lit.
like I
rose
just
petals.
Michael Bublé.
like these was dog.
you gotta watch that couple.
I'm all in the bubble bath like Rev Run.
That meme was crazy.
No, I told him, I was like, the solution here is you allow pretty much, in a short, version, you allow the world to be the world and you just be how you're supposed to be. I'm like, if you're a mother and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, what you're trying to portray here, then if the father truly is neglecting the son or whatever, it's not going to make that boy weak. What it's going to mean is that he's going to come to you for that love and dependency. And if you're doing things correctly, if you're living morally correct and righteous, he'll remember that, like we all do. We all remember the adults in our lives who were doing what they were supposed to do,
Right.
versus the ones who seemed like they were doing what they were supposed to do. And now we're adults and we look back and we're like, wait, that don't make no sense. Why were they doing that? So
Before we come to a close, I was wanting to bring this up, just I never had a good correct time to bring it in. I want to talk about, again, just health around, because I feel like it's so... Nowadays, people have such a misconception on health and what it is. And like we talked about it, bro, all these antibiotics, all this shit that they're handing out in ERs doesn't solve the problem, only keeps you stabilized and takes away some specific symptoms. So your blood pressure is not getting better. If anything, it's going to get worse once you get off these pills, and etc. Even most of like the procedures they do when they get someone in, like they think sometimes it's good to take the gallbladder out, but it's never a good thing to take a gallbladder out because it causes other problems down the line. But I just wanted to bring up some things that I feel like every man and woman should have in their household, like some vitamins and some minerals, whatever it may be. 3 quick ones. Magnesium glycinate, which is good for the cardiovascular system, nerves, sleeping, regulates all that. Vitamin D3 with K2. You gotta have D3 with K2 if you want the vitamin D to be absorbed correctly. It's very important. With vitamin D, it's good for the cells. It's good for the bone regeneration. It's all around. Vitamin D is very important. When you go to a doctor, the only thing they're gonna talk to you vitamin related when your blood tests come by is your vitamin D levels. They're not gonna really get to the nitty gritty A, B, and C unless you ask them to. And a third one would be probably a sort of a type of zinc, chelated zinc, I would say. If you have those, one more, multivitamins, 1 packet of good multivitamins. Everyone I feel like should have that in their household and should just be taking it just to maintain that healthiness. Because there's a lot of people who are smoking, they're eating bullshit, they don't understand, which is a long conversation I don't want to go down, but I just wanted to throw those couple of things that at least just from my knowledge, from my learning that I can give out to our audience. Just to get on your health tip. Don't listen to all these doctors. Don't believe in everything they say unless it's a family member that's a doctor, because we see what happens when they put people under chemotherapy. Sadly, doesn't kill those cells that are bad. It kills them, and it's fucked up, and it hurts me. And that's why I got so passionate for like a second. I had a long day today, bro. I wasn't even myself on the pod today. Usually I'm talking more, expressing myself more. As you guys saw today, I just laid back, but I just wanted to at least bring these things up. Make sure the doctor you go to is someone who cares and not someone who's just ready to write you any prescription down the line. Look for naturopath doctors and holistic doctors who care.
It's crazy that you bring that up because my mom's doctor, she's been with her forever. And my mom was losing weight, right? And drastically. And it's not like her. And my mom's doctor knows her. And she says, something's wrong. We got to run some tests. They end up taking a CT scan and said, this can be 2 things, either cancer or infection.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled a piece of lymph node out and they said it's cancer free. Her doctor said this doesn't make sense. This is not adding up. So take out the full lymph node. They took out the full lymph node and they found out she has stage 3 cancer. Now, if she, like you said, they would have told her, "Oh, wait it out. You know, we saw a piece. It wasn't it was benign. You're good." And if she would have waited, she would have got to stage 4 and then never would have came back.
Right.
Right. So it's like you said, it's finding that right doctor that is going to be with you from the beginning to the end. And it takes some time. You got to go through like job interviews. You got to go through the different people you're going to interview to see who you actually want to hire.
100%.
You know, so like it's crazy that you say that because, yeah, now my mom's going through chemo and she has 4 left. And God willing, everything goes good and she'll be great, you know.
Here's the thing with God, not God willing, in Jesus' name, your mother's going to be fine, my bro. And I'm just putting it out there in the universe so it's to be heard. In Jesus' name, your mom is going to be healthy, bro. So
I appreciate it.
The thing with chemo, though, is that some people, it works good on their systems. They have good immune systems. What I've noticed with Black, Mexican, Armenian, we have good immune systems, bro. I don't know what it is. Maybe generationally, because our family has always ate homemade. We're coming from different countries. Our forefathers, they all came from our respected areas, right? Maybe not. I think your ancestors were here. No, I don't know too much about your ancestry.
Yeah, I get your point.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
We're homemade, but then you look at some like, and I don't want to just name drop on
black health is like some of the worst health though, and I'll get into that later.
But you guys have good immunity, bro. And I've noticed Armenians have good immunity. Mexicans have
the best immunity.
Bro,
you guys, fabuloso.
That's what I've been saying. My G, I don't know what it is. You guys can eat anything, and it's a fucking industrial fucking stomach compactor. Yep. That shit just goes in and out, bro. I fucking wish. Here's the thing with Armenians, bro. Our lungs and our hearts are good. That's why you'll see us at 70 years old, be like, yeah, we've been smoking since 12 years old. But I feel like our intestinal isn't the best with Armenians, you feel me? Our way of cleansing is like vodka, bro. You feel bad? Vodka, spray some Vindex and it's okay.
I mean, even us as Mexicans, like if we're sick, we'll drink it's called a hottie toddy. You drink tequila and tea.
That's Armenians have that too.
A little bit of honey, but
we get a vodka, black pepper, and we throw a fucking another green pepper in it. I forgot what it is exactly, and you just like chomp on it.
It might be all the fucking chili that we eat as Mexicans. Too,
I did
probably burns it all out. Huh?
Yeah, I read some shit that the seeds and the pepper that you guys eat, whether it's Serrano or whatever it is, since you guys are always, it's in so many of the Mexican dishes, it's Serrano and all these peppers are in it. Yeah. So it's always cleansing the system, bro, all the time. So sure. I don't know. I just feel like it's very important, bro. You need to make sure. Like I said on the podcast before, when I was talking to my doctor and I brought up the specific vitamins and stuff I was taking, 2 of them were FDA approved, right? She's like, Irish sea moss isn't FDA approved, and chlorophyll isn't FDA approved. Then I was like, okay, hot Cheetos are FDA approved. What's your point? Like, what are you getting at?
Straight up.
So you're saying this can't give me a benefit? And after that day, I went to because I was young when that doctor said that to me. I was like maybe like 11, 12. And I'm like, Mom, we need to change my doctor. Like, I don't want this woman to be, since a kid, I've been crazy with all these like supplemental like bullshits, like wanting to take like these healthy stuffs and doing whatever. Just to wrap it up, because I can talk about this for hours. But as we know, everybody got places to be, things to do. All I want to tell to our audience is just be very picky when it comes to your doctor. Motherfuckers will be picky on a pickle on a fucking cheeseburger. But when it comes to their doctor, they don't give a fuck. They'll whatever the doctor says. Oh, just give me 5,532 antibiotics. I'll take them all on time. But they can't eat correctly. They don't sleep correctly. And then they're like, oh, fuck, why am I going through what I'm going through at such a young age? And I could even say that for myself too, because like my homies call me, I'm the healthiest smoker they've ever met. Because I smoke, but I do all these other things to try to balance it out. But I know deep down, it's like, you're lying to yourself, bro. Stop smoking. As someone who can take accountability for his own actions. So please, I'm going to do it for sure in another episode. I'm going to go deep on this whole health stuff, on this FDA, on this fake doctoring, the brainwashing of our medical students and the way they teach us and they think they're teaching us shit nowadays. It's all wrong. But just ladies and gentlemen of Boss Talk, please take care of your health and look deep into it because you have to. That's all you have.
Yeah, man. This was a good episode. I just want to say again, Ortega, thank you for coming on, bro.
That's
You've been my boy since high school. We've been through a lot together. Bad times, fighting times, overcoming times, and all of that. But man, bro, you used to be a dope ass rapper, bro. And my goal for you today is for you to continue to do that. Because I know that was your dream. I know that was your passion.
I was doing it.
So you coming on to this, like my homie Javon right here, he's a dope ass rapper as well. He has an album that we're gonna be working on again. And like let's all collaborate together, bro. Like I
Definitely
wanted
link
you
it
to
up.
be on here for a good talk, but also I wanted you to come on here again to inspire you to continue to do that because it doesn't matter how old you are in life, you can still continue to fulfill your dreams, to still do what you love. You feel me?
Your
100%.
passions, yeah.
And you could use that rap in a positive way too, bro.
Yeah.
So I know we
for
were
sure.
talking about it before. You're like, I don't know how I could bring it in with this new life I'm trying to pursue and go with. So I feel like you can still put all that light and
You can
goodness in it.
inspire others.
100%.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you guys having me for sure. The one thing I do want to let the audience know is like, if they could say anything, like being positive and being confident in yourself is everything. Like that could solve so many problems because at the root end of everything, people say, well, I'm not confident enough. When you walk in a room, you got to act like you own the room, but you got to keep some sense of humbleness too, for sure. But if you're not confident in yourself, who's going to be confident in you? Nobody.
Exactly.
So you got to make sure that you build your confidence up before you can do anything, any of your ventures that you have for you to be successful. If you want to be successful, you got to give things up. You got to stay confident in what you do. And that's just what I preach. Me and you have that short film we've still been writing.
Yeah.
And we still have it in the cut.
Yeah, we
and
do.
I've told a lot of people about it and they want it. So,
Yeah.
man, you're going to have to work
bro,
something up to get that.
We're going to make that
going.
happen. I promise you, bro. Like, we were working on that, I want to say probably like 8 years ago or something.
8 years ago, bro.
And that's when I first started,
doing
like
this,
actually doing this type of thing. And I mean, look where I'm at today. I'm still nowhere where I want to be in life yet, but man, I'm damn near closer to what I was last year.
100%.
Before that. And, like I'm one of the few people that followed my dream and it continues to do so. And the people around me that aren't, you're lost.
100%.
So we're going to do that, bro. And I'm glad I was able to introduce you to my homie Javon, my homie Maxim.
Thank you for coming through, brother.
Pleasure to have you on, brother.
Bro. We're all going to do great things together. So
and I just want to add for everybody watching, we could go in and we could talk to you guys about whatever. So feel free to DM us or comment and let us know what you want to hear us talk about, debate about, and touch up on, because we need to start doing some more of that. So
for sure. Yeah. We'll start doing more stuff with the audience. But at the end of the day, that's Boss Talk, everybody.
Boss Talk. Good night.